Today, we are analyzing a debate that has dominated gun counters and hunting camps for generations. If you could only invest in a single rifle to hunt every game species across North America, which cartridge would you choose? We are looking for the ultimate one-gun-to-rule-them-all solution. We need a caliber versatile enough to handle whitetail in the dense woods of Pennsylvania, flat shooting enough for pronghorn on the Wyoming plains, and powerful enough to take down elk in the Rockies, or even a massive grizzly up north. It is an incredibly demanding set of criteria, but today, we are providing the definitive answer. We are counting down the top 5 most versatile cartridges on the market, based on ballistics, availability, and proven field performance. And a quick spoiler, the number 1 spot has held its crown as the undisputed king for a very, very long time. The Practical Hunter's Workhorse, a deep dive into the .308 Winchester. It is the debate that has been fought and refought around every American campfire and gun counter for generations. If you could only have one rifle to hunt everything in North America, what cartridge would you choose? From whitetail in Pennsylvania to elk in the Rockies, finding one gun to rule them all is a tough question. But when you break down the very best, the perfect starting point at number 5 is the undisputed champion of modern practicality, the .308 Winchester. Born in the 1950s, the .308 Winchester is effectively the civilian version of the military 7.62x51 NATO round. That military background is the primary key to its enduring success, resulting in a massive variety of rifles chambered in this caliber. Ballistically, it is the absolute definition of a balanced cartridge. It typically lobs a .30 caliber bullet, usually in the 150 to 180 grain sweet spot, at muzzle velocities around 2,700 feet per second. It possesses more than enough kinetic energy to take down deer, hogs, and black bear. Additionally, as long as you keep your engagements inside 300 to 350 yards, it serves as a perfectly capable elk rifle. The .308 is not a speed demon, nor is it a magnum powerhouse, but in my opinion, that is precisely its greatest strength. It is flawlessly efficient. When you pull the trigger, the recoil is not a punishing, shoulder-bruising snap. Rather, it is just a firm, manageable push. This is where the .308 truly shines. Because it is comfortable to shoot, hunters are far more likely to spend time at the range practicing with it. And as any seasoned outdoorsman will tell you, more practice directly translates to becoming a better, more ethical hunter. Admittedly, it does not have the long-range legs of the Magnum cartridges. If your hunt requires sending a bullet 500 yards across a windy canyon, the .308 will make you work incredibly hard for that shot. However, for the vast majority of practical hunting scenarios that most of us actually engage in, the .308 is the ultimate workhorse. It simply gets the job done with no fuss. Another massive benefit of its military lineage is the sheer availability of ammunition. Ammo for the .308 is everywhere, and it is often very affordable. Current market pricing, personal insight. Because it is so ubiquitous, you can generally find full metal jacket practice rounds for around 75 cents to $1 per round. When you step up to premium, ethical hunting ammunition, like polymer-tipped or copper-expanding bullets, you can expect to pay anywhere from $150 to $250 per round. This means you can afford to train heavily without emptying your wallet, a luxury you rarely get with heavy magnums. If you want to blow massive holes through steel plates or shoot a moose from the next zip code, look elsewhere. But if you want a reliable, accessible, and comfortable rifle that can effectively put meat in the freezer season after season, the .308 Winchester is a brilliantly pragmatic choice. It is not flashy, but it is a proven, flawlessly efficient tool. The American Thoroughbred. A deep dive into the .270 Winchester. It is the debate that has been settled and refought around every American campfire and gun counter for generations. If you could only have one rifle to hunt everything in North America, what cartridge would it be? While some hunters lean toward the practical, do-it-all workhorses, coming in at number 4 on the list is a cartridge built on one thing: pure, unadulterated speed. Let's take a closer look at the elegant and time-proven legend, the .270 Winchester. The .270 Winchester is a true piece of American history. It was created by taking the legendary .30-06 case and necking it down to hold a smaller, lighter, 277-inch bullet. The objective result of this design is a round that shoots incredibly flat. We are talking about a cartridge capable of sending a 130-grain pill screaming out of the muzzle at over 3,000 feet per second. If the 308 is our workhorse, the 270 is undoubtedly our thoroughbred. In the field, that blistering speed translates to one massive subjective advantage for the hunter: far less guesswork. When you are staring down a mule deer or an antelope way out there at 350 or 400 yards, you do not have to hold your crosshairs a foot over its back. You just point and shoot. Personally, I believe that kind of flat trajectory creates invaluable confidence for a shooter. When you trust your shot placement, you become a deadlier, more ethical hunter. The recoil is a bit sharper than a 308, but it remains very manageable for almost anyone. In fact, it is such a classic that a lot of us probably took our very first deer with a 270. However, looking at it objectively, I have to acknowledge its limits. Because it simply does not have the heavy bullet weight, it is not the best choice for the biggest, toughest game on the continent, like elk or moose. While the original script focuses heavily on performance, any modern hunter knows that ammunition availability is a crucial factor. Because the 270 has been an American staple for nearly a century, ammo is readily available on almost every sporting goods shelf. Current market pricing, personal insight. You can generally find standard soft point hunting loads, perfect for whitetail, for around $1.25 to $1.50 per round. If you step up to premium, high ballistic coefficient polymer tipped or solid copper ammunition designed to maximize the cartridge's long-range potential, you can expect to pay roughly $2 to $3 per round. It strikes a great balance, being affordable enough to practice with, while still offering premium performance when it counts. For the hunter who values a flat trajectory above all else, the 270 Winchester is hard to beat. It may not have the heavy-hitting knockdown power required for massive bears or giant moose, but for deer and antelope on the open plains, it is an absolute laser beam. It remains a beautifully elegant and time-proven legend that has rightfully earned its place in American hunting history. Stepping on the gas. A deep dive into the 7mm Remington Magnum. The debate over the ultimate North American hunting rifle is a conversation that echoes around every campfire and gun counter. While standard calibers handle the close-range work, sometimes you need more. Coming in at number 3 on our list, we are officially stepping on the gas and entering Magnum territory. Let's break down the absolute beast that is the 7mm Remington Magnum. When the 7mm Remington Magnum hit the scene in the 1960s, it completely changed the game for Western hunters. Objectively speaking, its design is brilliant. It takes the blistering speed of the 270 Winchester and combines it with a heavier, more aerodynamic bullet, typically ranging from 140 all the way up to 175 grains. The ballistic result is highly impressive. It shoots even flatter than a 270. And it hits with serious authority when it arrives. This makes it a fantastic proven option for dropping massive elk, moose, and big-bodied mule deer in open country. In my view, this is exactly the cartridge you want in your hands when your hunt might involve a daunting shot across a wide canyon. If you need a specialized tool that can confidently reach out to 400, 500 yards and beyond, it drops the hammer with absolute authority. However, as they say, there is no free lunch. My subjective warning to new shooters: you are going to feel this one. The recoil represents a very noticeable jump from the standard cartridges. You have to be prepared for that kick. Flinching can ruin a long-range shot. This rifle demands good fundamentals and respect from the shooter. Because of its massive power, this simply is not a casual plinking round. As the script rightly points out, 7mm Remington Magnum ammo is not as common or as cheap as standard calibers like the 308 or 270. Current market pricing. Personal insight. You are definitely paying a premium for that Magnum capability. Standard soft point hunting loads generally start around $2 to $2.50 per round. However, to truly take advantage of this cartridge's long-range potential, you will likely want premium high ballistic coefficient ammunition. For top-tier copper or bonded long-range hunting rounds, you can easily expect prices to reach $350 to $450 or more per trigger pull. It may not be the cheapest or the gentlest rifle in your safe, but it is not trying to be. If your goal is to have a specialized, long-range tool that can confidently drop North America's toughest game at extended distances, the 7mm Remington Magnum is undeniably a top-tier powerhouse. Bringing out the big guns. A deep dive into the .300 Winchester Magnum. All right, for our number 2 spot, we are bringing out the big guns. When the conversation around the campfire turns to pure, raw, unquestionable knockdown power for North America's largest game, the .300 Winchester Magnum is always at the top of the list. If you need a rifle that hits like a freight train, it is time to look at this heavy-hitting giant. From a purely ballistic standpoint, the .300 Win Mag is an absolute juggernaut. It fires the exact same .30 caliber bullet as the practical .308, but it shoves it out of a massive belted Magnum case packed with a whole lot more powder. We are talking about launching heavy bullets, 180, 200 grains, and up, at blistering velocities. This is the rifle guys carry when they are specifically hunting big bull elk in the dark timber, massive Canadian moose, or dangerous brown bear up in Alaska. It delivers a tremendous amount of energy, and carries that energy way, way out there. It is built for one thing: maximum performance on the toughest animals. While the power is awe-inspiring, my subjective warning is that this power comes at a very real price. The recoil is incredibly stout. You do not just casually shoot a .300 Winchester Magnum off the bench. You have to actively manage it. It requires excellent shooting fundamentals to prevent flinching. Furthermore, let's be completely honest. For hunting standard whitetail in the woods, it is way more gun than you need. To borrow a perfect analogy, hunting a standard deer with this cartridge is exactly like using a sledgehammer to hang a picture frame. You will absolutely ruin a lot of good meat if you are not careful with your shot placement and bullet selection. As the script rightfully points out, the ammo for this beast is expensive. Current market pricing. Because of the massive brass casing and the sheer volume of powder required, you will not find cheap plinking ammunition for the .300 Win Mag. Basic soft-point hunting loads usually start at around $2.50 to $3 per round. However, if you are pursuing dangerous game or trophy elk, you need premium high-weight bonded or solid copper bullets. For those top-tier loads, you can easily expect to pay $4 to $6 per trigger pull. It is a financial investment to shoot this rifle regularly. The .300 Winchester Magnum is not for the faint of heart, nor is it the most economical choice. But if your ultimate goal is to have one single rifle that can take absolutely anything on the North American continent with absolute authority, it remains a hard-hitting, proven solution. The reigning king, a deep dive into the .30-06 Springfield. And that brings us to the number 1 spot on our list, the undisputed reigning and defending champion of all-around North American hunting cartridges, the .30-06 Springfield. If you are looking for the ultimate one-gun solution to handle absolutely everything on the continent, this is the crown jewel. Let's dig into why this century-old classic refuses to be dethroned. Introduced over a century ago in 1906, the .30-06 is not just a caliber. It is a piece of American history. It served the country through 2 world wars and has objectively put more meat on the table than any other cartridge ever made. From a ballistic standpoint, the hardware is incredibly sound. It features a bigger case than the .308, allowing it to push the exact same .30 caliber bullets about 100 to 200 feet per second faster. That extra powder capacity translates to a flatter trajectory and significantly more energy downrange. The reason the .30-06 holds the number 1 spot is simple. It is the absolute master of balance. Subjectively speaking, it can do everything the .308 can do, but it just does it a little bit better. It sits perfectly in that sweet spot between the easy shooting standard rounds and the heavy, shoulder-thumping magnums. Compared to the magnums, its recoil is firm, but absolutely manageable for most shooters. But its real magic is its versatility. Because it has been around for over 100 years, the variety of ammunition available on the market is unbelievable. You can find light 125 grain loads that are great for low recoil practice or varmints. Conversely, you can find heavy 220 grain loads that will penetrate deep on the biggest animals. Whether you are hunting whitetail, elk, moose, or black bear, You can trust the 30-06 to handle it effectively and ethically. Because of its massive, century-long popularity, you will never struggle to find 30-06 ammunition. It is the perfect middle ground not just in performance, but in cost, current market pricing, personal insight. You can easily find standard soft-point hunting loads, perfect for deer and pigs, for roughly $1.50 to $2 per round. If you step up to premium bonded or solid copper hunting ammunition for tough, heavy-boned game like elk or moose, expect to pay around $2.50 to $4 per round. It offers near Magnum performance on heavy game without the painful Magnum price tag. If you had to bet your entire hunting career on one single cartridge, there is only one clear answer, one that has been proven time and time again for over a century. The 30-06 Springfield is still the king. That concludes our breakdown of the top 5 all-around cartridges. But the discussion doesn't end here. We want to hear your perspective. If your go-to caliber didn't make the cut today, head down to the comments section and let us know what you are running and the reasoning behind your choice. If you found this analysis valuable, please hit that like button and make sure to subscribe to iReview for more in-depth evaluations and expert deer insights. Until next time, we'll see you in the next review.